I've been sat planning this episode for at least 40 minutes. There's so many things that I want to talk to you about today, and I've not actually been able to come up with a flow because there's so much I want to unpack when it comes to content, sales psychology, selling your customer the identity of that next version of them that they want. There's so much I want to unpick in this episode. I thought, you know what, Rach, just hit record, let it flow. And if you want me to do a second, a third, a fourth episode on this topic, then we can absolutely do that. Because today I want to talk about biopsychology, problem awareness content, and really give you some steps that you can take to up level your content so that it converts. Because I know that that is what you all want. You want to create the piece of content that drives your DMs, drives your inquiries, drives your call bookings, and obviously helps you to make sales. But what I really want to get across is that it isn't about the content. Your problem has never been about the content. The issue is not whether it's a carousel, whether it's a reel, what the hook should be, what the caption needs to say. The thing that you need to work on starts way before that. It starts inside your offer. It starts with the problem that you're solving. So anybody that says to me, and actually we were just having this conversation on my mastermind call this morning, anybody that says to me, Rach, I don't know what content to create. I don't know what to say on my Instagram this week. I don't know what to post on LinkedIn. I don't know what I should say in my content. Then I'm going to hold the mirror up and say, if you don't know what content you should be creating, then you do not have offer clarity. You do not understand your ideal client, and you don't understand the real value of the problem that you're solving. Because if you did, you would never, ever run out of content. I could create like more pieces of content than I could even imagine right now. I could create 200 pieces of content a week because I'm so grounded in who I create content for. I'm so anchored into the problem that I know I solve, why I solve it, how I solve it, and who I solve it for, that content is never the issue. Yeah. And so I want to get you thinking about problem awareness content, and really the fact that there's only two reasons why I hear women avoiding problem awareness content. It's either that you don't fully believe that you can solve your ideal client's problems, meaning that you don't believe in your own methods and your own genius, or you avoid problem awareness content because you feel icky prodding their pain. You feel icky talking about the problem, and you're worried about forcing them so far into the problem mindset that you never get them back out of it again. And if you're worried about feeling icky, what that means is that you're approaching content with a seller mindset. And my promise to you is that if you switch to a service mindset, it will feel a whole lot better and be more productive as a lead generation tool. Okay, let me just say that again so it really lands. I want you to share more problem awareness content. You will make more sales, you will generate more leads, more inquiries, more calls, more of all the things when you create problem awareness content. And what I see is there's two reasons why you're not. Either you don't fully believe that you can solve the problem and therefore you're not comfortable talking about it, or you feel icky talking about the problem because it feels like you're twisting the knife. It feels like you're prodding somebody's pain. Those are the two biggest reasons why people don't share problem awareness content. And what I'm saying is that you will make more sales when you do share it. So I want to give you some ways to do problem awareness content that really helps you, okay? That really helps you to feel good about doing it. So firstly, I want to make the point that you're not prodding pain. I want you to approach your content with a service mindset. I want you to show up knowing that what you do in your offer and in your content is help people. That doesn't make you a bad person. That makes you a good person. Yeah. When did helping somebody become a bad thing? It's just that maybe you got yourself a little bit caught up in sales is about manipulation. Sales is about pushing. Sales is bro. Sales is icky. It's awkward. It's about asking somebody for money. It's none of those things. Selling is about solving problems. for somebody who actually has the problem. You're not creating the problem and telling them that they've got this problem. You're just raising awareness in them that the problem exists so that they then go, oh, I see. So now I know that that's what's going on for me. Now I can start to think about the solution. And oh, you have the solution. Brilliant. What is it? Tell me about it. Yeah. So I want you to come at your problem awareness content, not from a marketeer's, I'm twisting the knife, I'm making them feel like shit because they've got this problem, more from the place of, I'm a good person who wants to help another good person to overcome a problem that they have. And the only way that I'm going to be able to really help them overcome it is by first helping them realize that they have the problem in the first place. And so what I want you to do this week to get you into this service mindset is remember that you built your offer to solve a problem. I want you to get curious. I want you to ask more questions. And I want you, when you ask those questions, to listen and really understand. Yeah, because very often, especially in sales, we listen to reply, not listen to understand. We listen just so that we can get the next word in. And sales is not about that. Sales is about listening. It's about asking the right questions and then listening to the answer. Because when you listen to the answer, you can hear what's really going on and you can ask a follow-up question that allows you to probe a little bit more deeply and say, so why is that? What's really going on there? Why does that happen? Yeah. A really great question for you to ask would be, that must be quite an issue that you've got going on. How does it really affect you? How does it affect your family? How does it affect your life? How does it affect your business? And you're asking for more detail, more clarity, which means that the person that you're asking that question to, your prospective new customer, is having to seek in their mind for how they really feel, for what's going on. And then they will share it with you. And then you can fully understand so that you can switch into problem solver, service mindset, not, okay, you've got that problem, you need this solution. What you're going to do is you're going to maybe lengthen the time it takes, right? You're not in sales, you're not growing your business in a rush, are you? I mean, I appreciate maybe you want to hit a certain target, a certain sales goal, but you've got to slow things down. Don't be in a rush. Don't be in a hurry. When you try to speed up somebody's time frame, that's when it comes across as icky and salesy. Your job is to peacefully understand them, allow them to feel in control, because buyer psychology dictates the minute the buyer feels out of control and that the next step isn't their choice, that's when they feel sold to. Okay? So you can see, I think, why I was struggling to lay out all the points that I wanted to make in this episode, because it's a little bit about your sales mindset and how you show up. It's a little bit about the content that you create and that you're holding back from problem awareness content. And it's a little bit about, well, actually, let's embrace problem awareness content. Let's provoke thought. Yeah, let's encourage your dream client to go into themselves a little bit and to really think about where they are and what they need and why they need it, and then see you as the person that they can confide in and share those innermost thoughts with. And when they share with you, yeah, well, this is my problem, that's when you say something like, well, that must be quite an issue. How long has that been an issue for you? How long have you been experiencing that? How does it really affect you? How quickly do you want to get this solved? And when they answer that question, whether that's on a call or in the DMs or in an email or face to face, wherever that is, and they say, well, it's actually really urgent. This has become such an issue for me that I need to find the answer ASAP. Like, this is, I want to get this fixed. This needs to be fixed. That's when you can say, well, that's exactly what I do to help my clients. Only last week, I helped somebody go from A to B. Do you want to know what it sounds like for me to help you with that? Do you want to know what it would look like? Do you want to hear more about how I help with that? And then they say yes. So you're asking for permission. You're not pitching, you're not persuading. This is not manipulation. This is asking great questions, listening to the answer, and putting yourself in that service mindset so that when they tell you that there's a problem, when they tell you it's important, when they tell you they want it fixed as soon as possible, you're able to step in and say, well, let's do that then. Let me show you what that would look like. And then you can ask me whatever questions you've got, and we can we can build you a bespoke plan. Yeah, I can tell you about my retainer. I can tell you about my XYZ package or program. Okay. So there's lots of things going on here. This is, I don't even know what I'm going to call this episode yet, because biopsychology makes it sound boring and scientific. Content makes it sound like I'm going to give you a couple of hooks to use. And actually what we're speaking about is way more grounded in who you truly are as a salesperson, who you truly are when you show up online. Okay, so leave it with me to think of some, fabulous title that brings this all together. And what I would love to know from you is, do you want another episode on this? Has it been really useful to see content through a psychology lens, for you to really think about sales in a mindset of, this is not just about you showing up, inviting somebody to buy. This is about you showing up, being a service provider, being a problem solver, being a helper. Okay, if this has been useful and you want another episode, drop me a note on Instagram at Rach Howarth and let me know. Maybe you want to let me know what's going on in your content. I've got a little bit of time this week where I could look at a few of your accounts. I can't promise you like a full detailed content audit, but if you've got crickets going on your Instagram and you want me to have a little look at your content, let me know. I will always take steps to support you, because you're here listening to the show, and I'm really grateful that you are a listener of the Becoming an Online Sales Queen podcast. So reach out on Instagram. Let me know if you want an episode 2. If you know somebody in business that would really get value from this episode, then please do share it. And in the next week's episode, I want to get into moving somebody from desire into demand, into decision. Okay, this is a little bit more about biopsychology. This is a little bit more about, are we selling to a want or are we selling to a need? I want to unpick that a little bit next week. So tune in next week, and I'll see you on Instagram.